I'm now joined live in studio with opera pop group Naria. So, ladies, welcome to the show tonight.
Thank you.
So, if you want to go around, and I guess we'll just start to my right here and just say your name, and so everybody that's listening in has an idea of who you are.
Hi, everybody. It's Katya Chubar.
It's Annalise Jalilian.
I'm Anna Bateman. I'm Michelle Deneze.
All right, ladies. So, thanks a lot for taking the time out of your night to come down to the studio. I know you guys had a bit of time beforehand and hung out around Broadview. You guys said you went to dinner somewhere?
Yeah, we had our Christmas dinner together this evening on the Danforth at Combine Eatery.
Oh, nice. I don't think I've been there yet.
It was good. Go there. Yeah, good food.
It is good. Anything on the Danforth that's it's Greek or just any restaurant is pretty solid.
Yeah,
there's a few ones that I wouldn't go to, but they're pretty good for the most part. All right, so you guys are a pop opera group, and you guys were formed in 2010. So how did you guys meet each other?
Katya Chubar speaking here. Basically, 2 years ago, I had an moment of enlightenment, and decided that from now on, something like that has to be created. And Annalise Julinen, who's sitting to my left, was my student at the moment and studying different genres, a little bit of opera, a little bit pop and musical theater. And of course, she came to my mind right away. Michelle Deneze, I also loved the first time I saw her teaching Russian in Royal Conservatory of Music, and I knew she would be a perfect fit. And Anna Bateman was recommended by a friend of mine. It was interesting because in the last newspaper article, it mentioned something about very privately close friend or something. Do you remember the wording? I actually wanted to go. I'm sorry. He was just a friend. And so I don't know why.
Nothing more, people. Nothing
No,
more.
nothing
Nothing more.
He was just a friend, yes. Yes, in case if you're wondering.
So when you were picking a group, like, I mean, were there a lot of challenges that went into that, or did you sort of know, like, you had a good fit from...
It's a chance. And it was just meant to be. I honestly, this is the second time I actually created a group.
Okay.
I'm originally from Ukraine, and before I came to Canada, I also had created a group. It was a Ukrainian folk and pop,
Right.
since that's my background. And that one also worked out. And the second one, I guess I should have created that earlier. I should have thought about it earlier, but then I wouldn't have you guys. So
There you go.
yeah.
So you're an opera pop group, crossover type group. Talk about your sound for listeners that don't really know what opera pop is.
Well, they're all looking at me. So it's a fusion. Basically, we're all classically trained, so we all have that in our background, and that's sort of obviously what brought us together. And then it's a direct mix with pop. So it's a very kind of eclectic sound, not one that's often fused in quite the manner that we've done it. So yeah, I mean, you get a lot of operatic high notes, and then you get some really kind of gritty and interesting mixes of other musics. There's some Arabic sounds in there. There's I don't know. Come on, girls.
Here, there's
All sorts.
The microphone is right here.
So what?
all sorts.
So what kind of musician sort of influenced your sound and you're inspiring to write?
Well, to write, it's also a tricky question because there is so much that through the years I kind of collected, and this, seeds were planted in my heart or soul, and then slowly everything started kind of to burst into the life. And I love pretty much every kind of genre. I love rock, I love pop, jazz, and of course opera. From operatic point of view, of course, Maria Callas was always my inspiration. Renee Fleming from the recent ones. I love Stevie Wonder, even back. Michael Jackson was, always one of my favorite. Absolutely, a rock, a Sting. Pop, ups and downs. It could have been like, from the moment of Lady Gaga to Josh Groban as crossover right now. In that genre, but talking about classical crossover, there's basically some people calling us opera pop, and some
Right.
classical crossover. There are some groups, of course, like they used to be Canadian tenors, now the tenors. Group Il Divo, Sarah Brightman, of course.
Okay, so there isn't. Is there like a major difference? I mean, I don't know too much about pop personally. So is there a major opera pop? So is there a major difference between like opera pop and classical crossover?
It's a very new genre. Put it this way. There is really no definition like what opera pop and classical crossover, and most of the time you see one album the group would call, okay, we are classical crossover, and the next album you see and they're calling themselves opera pop. So it's one of those things. What it is, it can be both. It can be more contemporary music sung with operatic voice, or, for example, more contemporary pieces. So am I making sense? Yeah. So it's either contemporary sung with operatic, or operatic sung with more like Celtic women.
Okay.
Sung with a more straight tone, more popish sound. But the music that they're singing can be classical. So it's either or.
So in 2011, you released your first album, Naria Opera Pop Supernova. So talk a little bit about what were the inspirations behind this album, and I guess what were some challenges in coming up with the album as well.
Well, the album is, can I?
There you go.
If you give it to me so I can see the playlist. Not that I haven't memorized it. But, for example, Addio, which was our first song that we recorded, was inspired by the opera La Traviata. So the main theme that you'll hear throughout Addio is from that opera. So that's an inspiration there. We also have inspiration from the famous Debussy Clair de Lune. And so that's the inspiration.
You could hear that melody in Twilight.
Yeah, everywhere, actually.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
If the listener is a younger generation, I just want to make sure that they heard that before.
It's actually amazing how many commercials and movies have these classical excerpts in them, but people don't really recognize.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't recognize it, but if you listen to The Moon, you'll definitely recognize the main theme going on there. And also we have...
Inspired by...
Well, it's just the theme. Where it was actually original composition that Michel wrote the lyrics and I wrote the music.
So they all have their own little influence from different operas and whatnot. And you'll notice that most of them have Italian influence, Italian opera, except for My Mother Taught Me. And
yes, Dvorak.
What was a big challenge in coming up with the album then?
I guess,
were there any?
Well, I guess it was our first album, so I guess there's always sort of a challenge when you're putting together your first big project, your first big album, because you're trying to you have
trial and error.
Yeah, and you have an idea of the sound that you're going for. Okay,
right.
So we're a pop opera group, but you're still, as you're going on and you're recording, you're still figuring out your sound or what works better. Yeah, and you know where our voices sit better, what works, what doesn't work, what the audience can relate to more. So it's kind of like trial and error, and you're going about, you're recording the album and you're trying different things. So it's challenging at times, but it's definitely rewarding, because by the end of the for the last song you recorded, you're like, okay, we know how to do this. Let's do this. So
how long did it take to put together the album?
Oh, when did we start that?
Well, we kind of because the songs were written and then the accompaniment was produced, and it took around a month. So each song pretty much took a month.
About
just
a month
generally.
Yeah.
3 weeks. So, yeah, every month we would produce a new song, which is incredible because it included everything: score and the text and the harmony, arrangement, and then recording.
Right. So also off of this album, you recorded, you filmed The Witch, the music video for The Witch, excuse me. What was, I guess, the most enjoyable part about filming that music video?
The most enjoyable part was just, it was our first time actually being together and traveling afar and learning about each one of us and how we are in certain environments. But other than that, it was, if I can tell a little bit of story.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So I'll start off with Michelle. Michelle, do you want to say your little story on the collage?
The famous story.
The story,
On
yeah.
the Cloche, the mountain that we had to hike about 2.5 hours to get on top.
For those listening, they probably, like, where did you guys film it? Just so
Killarney, in Killarney Provincial Park.
Yeah, Killarney Provincial Park in,
It's Killarney.
Where is it?
It's Killarney.
that's
area,
Killarney, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's past Perry Sound.
So we had to hike up a 2.5 hour hike to get to the top of La Cloche, which is the famous point in the mountain.
It's
where
called the Crack.
Yeah, the crack in English, the crack. And so So we had to film up there, and it was my scene, the first verse of The Witch. And by the time we got there, fixed our makeup. We also recorded the national anthem up there. So by the time it came time for me to for the videographers to record my scene, the sun started setting and everyone started panicking. So Annalise and Anna they took off.
We
We're
went.
like, forget this. We're leaving before we get eaten by a bear. And Katya and I were left with the videographer and the director. And the sun, I swear, one moment it was there, the next it was gone, and we were in the darkness. And it started to rain on top of that. So we were hiking back down for 2.5 hours in the dark. We got lost. It was raining. We thought we were going to be eaten alive. Someone fell. We were praying to God. And it was quite the adventure. I mean, we have like such stories.
We
had
so
such
many
laughs,
stories.
but
Yeah.
we definitely were scared at one point. We just had to sort of, Katya was like, okay, we're lost. Don't move. Wait here. I'm going to go and I'm going to find our way. So all brave, she leaves us standing at this point in the mountain, and she's like, okay, I found our way. And so we ended up all following her. So we got home, because we're here now.
Yeah. Thankfully.
But,
We made it back.
thankfully-
God, yeah.
The video's done too. which is
Yeah,
good.
the video's done, and so yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
A big learning experience for all of you.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was like the most exciting, and that was the first day that we went. And then my story, I had to do it in a lake. Well, at first it was supposed to be on this little deserted island, and not too far from the Killarney Provincial Park actually, and well, it started thunder and rain, and it was a bad weather, and I could have gotten like bronchitis or something if I even went into that water. So the next morning, makeup was done, and then I had to go behind the hotel that we were staying at in the swamp water. And I tried my best to make it look, really good.
It did. It looked so
was
good.
hot. I was just hoping no fungus was on me, but
It probably was.
we made it
but you
through.
look good.
You here now too.
Yeah, you're here now.
Yeah, but that was like so exciting.
We should have signed like a waiver form or something.
Well, I did get insurance for that. So remember?
Smart.
So now your second album is the Naria Opera Pop Fantasia, and that was released back in September of this year. I guess describe what is the major difference between your first album and then this album?
Well, there is really no big of a difference because even the name, the first album is called Naria Opera Pop Supernova, and the second Naria Opera Pop Fantasia, and it's supposed to be a sequel to it anyway, because as I was saying, we're a new upcoming group. We wanted to release the first album as soon as possible because we had live performances. We wanted to have obviously the CD out, and the second one was continuous of exactly what we're doing. The one major difference is that the second album consists the electropop remix of 1+1. So
Which you'll
really,
hear, actually, right? You'll hear
yes.
that.
So that makes a huge difference because for now, like if we're talking about classical crossover genre, well, I believe we are the first one that actually kind of included opera pop and like opera sound and pop sound and made it quite dancey.
It's a very cool sound, and you're going to get a chance to hear the 1+1+1, at least the electric pop mix here on Radio Nation. So you also have a Christmas song out as well, and because it is a Christmas time, it feels like it's an appropriate time to ask this question. So talk a little bit about your Christmas song, I Found a Little Christmas Break. I Found a Little Christmas, excuse me.
Yeah, so actually that was our very first song that we recorded together, and the very first time that I, Annalise, met Michelle and Anna for the first time within the studio on, where were we, Red Velvet record?
Port Credit. Yeah.
Port Credit there. And literally, it was the first time that I heard both of their voices, and I was like amazed. I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to work with these beautiful voices? But you know what? As you listen today, our voices all blend so beautifully, but it's a really, really exciting song, and it was written by Katya here. So,
Talk to me a bit about what was that first moment like when you all met each other?
It was cool.
It was
I
so
think we all.
awesome.
It was
We
just.
clicked.
It was a strange moment. Obviously, meeting in the recording studio. Michelle and I actually already knew each other. We had done a production together before, and Katya I had met at the audition, and then of course, as Annalise said, we all met for the first time. So the four of us kind of coming together the first time in the studio was a bit surreal and a bit strange. That like almost like one of us was behind glass the first time we all walked. I think Katya and Annalise were recording when Michelle and I walked in.
Yeah.
So our very first impression of Annalise was behind the glass with her her headphones on.
But I think that makes it so perfect,
but like,
right?
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, from day one, we all just got along like a house on fire. Like we're good friends. You can honestly say outside of everything else, we're really good friends. So yeah, it was cool. It was neat meeting that way, I think.
So we're going to take a quick break here on Radio Nation. We're going to play 1+1+1, the electric pop remix, which is a really cool song for those of you that are waiting to hear it. So we're going to play it right now, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to take some questions and follow through the rest of the questions. But if you also want to ask these lovely ladies a question, you can do so by tweeting me at Radio_Nation on Twitter, and that was 1+1+1 electric pop remix there. So ladies, talk a little bit about that song. What made you, I guess, decide to do an electric pop remix to that song?
Well, first of all, the song was written by Romina Di Gasparo. She is a friend of mine and a very good singer-songwriter. And I edited the opera into there. But what inspired us to do the electro mix, I think it was just the perfect song to do it. The meaning, the beat by itself, like within it. And we really like to reach out to the younger generation to begin with. So if we're welcome to do, we're thinking to do more remixes, in the future as well. So I think it's a cool thing to do. And we also love to dance.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yep.
It's a pretty catchy song. I guess then talk to me a bit about you performing. You've showcased at a Medium International Music and Technology Conference in France, and you've also performed in Toronto and Vancouver. What was the experience like for you in France?
Amazing. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was pretty much a whirlwind because it's a huge music and technology conference that they hold every year in Cannes, France. And we were fortunate enough to win a showcase there. So we were submitted into a competition against thousands of other artists and were chosen to go there and present our work. So we did that, and that was, almost a year ago now. It's unbelievable, surreal. And so we got there, and like I say, crazy whirlwind. From daytimes, we were at the conference and just kind of schmoozing and trying to make as many connections as we could. And then at night, I think it was our second night there. Was it our second night we had our showcase? Yes, second night there. We performed there and had a fantastic crowd. It was so funny because we were drawing, as people would hear the operatic voices coming from inside, they started to sort of wander in off the streets because, of course, being that it's the festival there, I think even the film festival was shortly after that, and there were a bunch of other festivals and things going on there, so the streets were filled with people just sort of milling about. And when they heard 4 operatic voices coming from within this place, they just sort of came in, and so we filled the place pretty quickly.
What was that feeling like?
It was awesome, and it was great to see that, it started out, it was already pretty busy, and then by the time we were maybe on our second or third song, the place was packed. So it was a really good feeling, and we got such a positive, warm response from everyone there, and it was great.
Now, you've also performed in Toronto and Vancouver, and you produced a sold-out show, at the Glen Gold studio in Toronto. Which venue has been your favorite to perform at so far?
Oh gosh, the
Glen Gold.
Yeah, Glen Gold.
Which we were just
a year
talking
today.
A year today.
Yeah.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
It's a celebration.
Yeah.
The venue's amazing there. The acoustics.
Doesn't get better.
We were so proud of ourselves, if I must say. We produced such a wonderful show, and we had such a great audience and a great response, and it was such a lovely venue to perform in, and it's just everything, the sound engineers, we had a children's choir, we had a mini orchestra, we had a drummer, and it was on a pretty grand scale, and it was just so much fun, and it was so perfect for the holidays, and it's, like I said, such an amazing venue to to host our very first produced concert.
And for the people that don't know, it's in CBC building on Front Street, downtown Toronto. And it's interesting that you were mentioning the choir, because when we were recording I Found a Little Christmas, the Christmas song, and when the girls met first time, we also had kids recording that with us. So the atmosphere was amazing. And then, of course, our first show, we also had a kids choir, Leonard's choristers, right? Just everything. That was the first time when we were proud of ourselves. Not only we produced the show with almost like 90% of our own material, we gathered the best talents, musicians on stage, including Clara LaFaro, who is well known also in Canada and in States, in New York. And the audience just was, I must say, kind of pleasantly shocked. They did not expect that. So that was, I think, a very important keystone in our career, when not only you just release CD, but then you produce the show, and that's why all those amazing things are followed in terms of Midam and a lot of conferences that we did. General Motors, Kia, all other performances that came out of it.
And I just want to add that we were on such a high after that show, because it was so great, such a great experience, and we were waiting to hear the results from the Midem showcase as people were voting in those days. And it was like a day or two after we woke up and we had found out that we won. So it was such an amazing month for us. It was great.
But even at the show, remember the announcer? What was his name?
John.
He was like, vote for Naria!
Vote for Naria! And then shortly after.
And it's amazing that today again, it is a year anniversary of that show.
That is weird. That is pretty cool.
You got us at a good time.
Yeah, there you go. So now you're actually going to be performing in Collingwood for New Year's Eve, and I saw that on your site there. So for people that are interested in coming out to Collingwood and that are listening in from Ontario, where is the venue exactly, and I guess what time will you be there at?
Well, the venue is, if you know Collingwood, Blue Mountains, there's a big resort, Cranberry Resort. Basically, you can, it might be sold out in terms of accommodations, but you don't have to come to the show and book your table. You can stay somewhere else and come
stay
and
somewhere
still,
else and
buy
still come
tickets.
to the show.
I believe it's around $60 value for dinner with champagne.
Yeah, I think it's $60 or $70.
Not 70. It's below 70.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's basically we perform twice. We opening the show with a more classical repertoire, since we're classical crossover. But then, of course, with the countdown. 9, 8, 7, 6, whatever the numbers are, we're going to be singing more pop and dance and have fun. So you're welcome to join us, and it's going to be amazing.
Is this your first time doing a New Year's show together?
Yes, definitely first time. I hope not the last. We're looking forward to it, right?
Yeah, it's
and
gonna be
our close friends going to be with us. So.
And we're singing cool stuff like Katy Perry and
covers,
Sia, David Guetta music.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
So speaking of the New Year's in 2013, if we get to 2013, because apparently the world's going to end. And,
this may be our final interview.
Yeah, this could be the final Radio Nation ever. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go max out my entire credit card, and then I'll explain to the bank.
I already did that.
Explain to the bank the next day. I thought the world was going to end. Come on, give me a break. So speaking of 2013, what were your plans? What are your plans for 2013, and will you be touring anytime soon?
That's a very good question, because as for now, nothing is confirmed, but I must say that our plans are humongous. So we're definitely reaching for the stars.
There's a lot on the horizon.
Yeah.
A lot on the horizon, and we will most certainly keep fans and friends posted on all of that, and you can also find out anything on about us on our website.
As soon as something is confirmed, it's definitely going right away into all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, on our website.
Here's a question off of Twitter, and it's from Kim, and she asked, "What was the first song that you guys sang as a group?"
Sang.
Adio. Was it not?
Well, we recorded.
I Found a Little Christmas.
We recorded I Found a Little Christmas, but then...
No, performed.
What's the first song that we performed?
Oh, performed. Adio would have been Adio.
Adio.
Yeah.
Well, the first time we performed was at the Mississauga Arts...
So it was Adio and Betrayed.
Yeah, it was Adio, Betrayed,
That was our first
The
one.
Moon,
The Moon,
and
The
Ambitious.
Yeah.
And Ambitious. And we managed to do it all with choreography.
Hold on, wasn't our first performance the Star...
iStar.
iStar.
So okay, so
iStar.
okay,
Adeo
okay,
and
so
Adeo.
Adeo and Betrayed.
Okay, and iStar, it's a center for the arts in Toronto, Scarborough area.
North York, isn't it?
No. It's
Oh,
401 and Kennedy Road.
Yeah, that's Scarborough.
Yeah, Scarborough, yeah. So
don't
it's a
ask
center for the arts, and they just opened 2 years ago. And as a promotion, they had this big competition, and one of the judges was also the judge from Canadian Idol.
Zach.
The tough one.
Zach.
Everybody knows him
I
as
say
Zach.
Zach.
Yeah, and and actually the first time we performed, and we got actually unbelievable remarks, and since then, going strong.
All right, going to ask you a bit of completely random questions. We like to do this on the program quite often and ask it's like 21 questions, but I'm just going to ask you them really quickly, and you can all answer.
That's the best.
Yeah,
Okay,
so here we
that's
go.
the
So I asked it off air, and I'll ask it again. So starting off with what is your favorite Disney movie?
Oh my god.
Anna Bateman's is a toss-up between The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. I can't choose.
Mine is Beauty and the Beast.
For sure. Michelle says Anastasia.
What? Oh, that's cute.
I love Anastasia.
Okay, whatever.
I'll be honest, Beauty and the Beast scared me when I was like 5. Like,
my
that movie
gosh.
just I don't know what it was. I think it was like the talking clocks or the Beast. That whole movie just scared me.
It might have been the Beast.
It was probably the Beast and the I thought
It
that
might have
clock
been
was weird.
Gaston.
The talking clock.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Like I felt like that just was like so
Are
odd.
you
Like
scared of clocks ever since?
no, I was scared of I'm scared of clowns though.
Oh, okay.
That
That's
I'm
understandable,
scared of
though.
clowns, definitely.
Clowns are scary.
Katya, what's your favorite Disney? Go on.
No, I actually watch a lot of movies since I have 2 young kids. But was the movie Up produced by Disney?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what.
even if it's not, it's like the same idea.
No,
right? Like,
yeah,
favorite
I
children's
really,
movie or whatever.
watching from the adult point of view, I really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I also like Thumbelina.
Oh, I must say, Annalisa is like a crazy Disney fan.
They get better. You know what the best thing is? They're enjoyable even when you get older, right?
It's
Like
true.
I watch
Yes.
you watch Aladdin, and that movie to me is
Oh, I love
It's
Aladdin.
hilarious.
And Jungle Book.
I've always wanted to be
Okay.
a Disney character.
I'm a Disney junkie.
I wanted to be Jasmine.
Officially a Disney junkie.
I wanted to like sing a Disney character.
So that's
That's a good
why I'm a
question.
singer.
I wanted to be a singer in
Okay,
Disney movies.
we just opened a can of worms. Okay, so Naria, no more opera pop. It's a Disney group.
Now all Disney.
there you go.
Guys, we have 20 more questions. Come on.
All right. So what is your favorite food?
Michelle Danese, I'm Italian. Pasta.
Mine is gnocchi, Annalise.
Oh, no, okay, we just made it up.
specific.
I'm Ukrainian, but I love Thai. Spicy.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. Sushi, maybe. Or,
Sushi's
I
good.
don't know. Sushi's good.
For now.
For now.
Where is one place that you would love to perform as a group?
Italy.
In the Coliseum. In the Coliseum
in
in Italy.
unison.
Yeah. In the
I would say Las Vegas.
Really? Yeah.
I
Celine
think,
Dion.
The different,
yeah, I
the
think
one
it
that
would
with
be a
the.
nice venue for us.
Yeah.
Celine Dion can open for us.
Cool.
There you go.
For us.
Where is one place that you've always wanted to visit, just to try traveling wise anyway?
Well, it's kind of happened already. We were when we got together, we were joking about going to Paris,
Yeah.
and
go.
years later it happened. So now we're dreaming about going all other places like Italy and Japan.
I want to go to Thailand.
I want to go to Greece.
Okay, here
My
we go.
parents are just in Greece actually, not too long ago. Kind of jealous. Sounds like it's a lot of fun.
jealous of your
I want
parents.
to go to like South America.
Yeah, that'd be
Never
pretty
been
cool
there
too.
before,
That'd
so
be pretty cool.
something interesting.
Yeah.
I guess going forward, a little bit more music wise, you mentioned Vegas and Italy. Is there a venue in Toronto that you'd really like to perform at someday?
Oh yeah, the
Air
Rogers
Canada
Center. Hello.
Yeah.
Or Air Canada.
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
Air
yeah.
Canada and Rogers.
No,
same
it's not.
thing.
They're different.
They're different.
Okay, well, ACC for me.
Okay, Rogers for me with the dome open.
Yes.
So it has to be nice.
So cool.
Like you two.
Yeah.
There
You
go.
two, if you're listening.
Surprised nobody said Roy Thompson Hall though.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty solid venue.
No, it's pretty
it's
solid.
good.
It's pretty
It's
solid.
good.
We'd like to do
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah, no, can't go wrong with.
I'm a Roy
Can't-
Thompson fan.
there's a lot of good venues in the city.
Well, even
actually.
like a smaller, like Alexandra Theater, like musical theaters, like smaller venues, but still beautiful architectural with the nice, soft, plush seats.
Cushy seats for
yeah,
all you
those
out
are
there.
nice.
Now, does it make a huge difference? And having gone to a concert where this seems to matter, does it make a huge difference to perform outside or to perform in a venue where the sound sort of kept closer?
Oh, a huge
Makes a
difference.
Yes.
Huge difference.
Well, the first thing, it depends on the equipment itself. Outside, if the equipment is first class, for example, where we just performed at Chin, not just, but in the summertime at the Chin picnic.
That was good.
They had amazing. Like the setup was amazing. The microphones were,
Like
It
the
wasn't
sound
outside.
it really
But it
traveled.
was
right?
really good. It really traveled.
They
And
know what
people
they're
were
doing, for
sitting
sure.
like, I don't know, 500, 600 meters away under the trees. It was a very, very hot day. And they, obviously they enjoyed it. But when it's done right, like, for example, CBC, then, of course, the indoors, you cannot beat the quality.
Is there a preferred sort of venue that you like that is outdoors that you have performed at or that you would enjoy to perform at, whether it's like the amphitheater or just sort of anywhere in the city?
We like to perform everywhere. As long as I was saying, is that if the equipment is good and we have the audience, bring us there. We'll have fun, and the audience too.
Is it easier to perform indoors as opposed to outdoors, or is there sort of like a different sort of mentality you have to go in?
Wait. Now we performed in Mississauga on a very windy day one day.
We don't want to do that again.
So performing outside is amazing
Yes.
if you've got amazing equipment
That's
and
true.
you don't have torrential rain and and wind blowing your hair across your face and whipping
Yes.
into the microphones. That was
October
we
1st.
chalked that up
Yeah.
as interesting.
Right.
That's what we
Okay.
chalked that up as.
Yeah, and I remember in our we said that now in our contract it should be a clause or something saying that the wind can only be this so much and so much,
Yeah.
and we can because honestly people could not even hear us. The wind was so strong that the sound of the wind was overpowering the accompaniment. Yeah, it was that
So
bad.
you just have other things to deal
Yes.
with when you're dealing with that kind of thing. It's just.
But in terms of differences, like I would say, coming from operatic experience, and when you perform in opera, the lights are down. I mean, in a theater, and the bright lights shining up your face, so you kind of blinded, and you get used to it, and you kind of completely kind of separate yourself from the audience, and you just perform for imaginative audience some out there, versus when you perform outdoors. You can see every single face, so you cannot ignore that. You cannot pretend that the audience is not there.
Cool,
so you end
though.
up,
It's
it is
cool
cool. That's what I'm
connecting
saying.
with
so
the
you end
people
up
that way.
actually looking at the people
Yeah.
and
Does that make that
communicating
It's
with them
really-
more. Yeah.
Does it make it harder or easier?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It actually adds a
Yeah.
different layer to it. It's actually really cool connecting with your audience
Yeah.
and allowing that wall to come down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially when people start dancing, while
Yeah,
you're
it's
singing.
nice to see
Yeah.
people's reaction.
Yeah.
It's good to see
Absolutely.
their reaction, and we've had people in the audience moved to tears at certain points, and that's really special for us to witness. Like, I think it's a privilege for us to witness. We're up there doing what we absolutely love and know that we should be doing and need to do, and we move people to that heightened emotion. It's incredible. That's a privilege.
You mentioned connecting with people, so for those that are listening right now that actually want to get a hold of you on social media or any of that fun stuff, how do people find you on the internet? And
Well, they can come to our website, www.nariagroup.com, or they can come to our Twitter at Naria Group. And, we love to talk and chat with people, so you can definitely shoot us a tweet. Or, what else?
Well, first of all, Naria is Naria. So there's no confusion in there. And yes, we're very active on Facebook. Facebook is Naria. Even if you just Facebook Naria Group, you'll get there.
Yeah.
And then Naria Group at YouTube channel. We have quite a bit of YouTube videos.
final
videos you can check out.
Yeah.
final question I want to ask tonight is, and it is on your bio, but I think it's best to hear in your own words. How did you come up with that name, Naria?
Well, Naria, the root word aria, is the aria is the solo highlight art song in an opera. So that's that part of the word, and we added N to signify north. Woman of the North, and Song of the North, and also as a word together, it means Celtic goddesses.
Naria is a Celtic goddess, so she's a goddess of luck,
well-being,
and well-being,
yeah.
and wealth, and abundance.
So the first one we came up with Naria as aria plus N,
Right.
but we were not sure. But after we Googled it and we found out, we're not the first one came up with that name, and especially what it symbolized.
Yeah.
And goddesses, opera singing goddesses, it kind of really
It
clicked.
fits.
Yes, it does fit. It does fit.
We thought so.
So is there anything else you ladies want to add tonight before I do let you go? I'm going to play your song Betrayed. just after you head off.
Well,
so.
first of all, thank you for having us
Thank
here.
you so
You're welcome.
much. It's been
I love the laid back,
fun.
just a great atmosphere.
There you go.
Yeah, sure. It's been really good, and yes, we're looking forward to perform live. And if somebody's listening to us, please come to our shows. As I was saying, it's going to be posted, and keep in touch with us. We love to,
we love to
become